It began with a single howl, low, echoing, unnatural, not the kind you'd hear from a gray wolf. This one was older, deeper, more primal, like the earth itself groaning awake after 10,000 years of silence. People near the remote Texas research facility thought it was just the wind. Others weren't so sure, because 2 days later, behind sealed doors and sterile glass, a team of scientists wheeled out a containment crate. Inside was something the world hadn't seen since the Ice Age, a living, breathing dire wolf. This is not science fiction. This is real. And what's happening now could change nature as we know it. To understand why this is so terrifying and so fascinating, we need to go back. 20,000 years ago, North America was a wild, frozen battleground. Glaciers covered the land. Mammoths roamed the tundra. Saber-toothed cats lurked in the shadows. And at the very top of the food chain, the dire wolf. This creature wasn't just a bigger version of the modern wolf, it was a monster. Weighing up to 150 pounds, with bone-crushing jaws and massive frames, dire wolves were apex predators. Their teeth were built to shatter the bones of prey like bison, camels, and even baby mammoths. But what made them deadly wasn't just power, it was strategy. They hunted in packs, ruthless, coordinated, intelligent. Imagine being stalked by 6 of these beasts. You wouldn't see them. You'd only hear that deep, ancient howl right before the attack. They ruled the Americas for tens of thousands of years, and then suddenly they were gone. No war, no plague, no single cause, just extinction, or so we thought. For years, scientists assumed dire wolves were just ancient cousins of today's gray wolves. But in 2021, a groundbreaking study shattered that belief. Researchers sequenced DNA from dire wolf fossils found in the La Brea tar pits in California. What they discovered stunned the world. Dire wolves aren't wolves at all. They split off from the canine family tree over 5 million years ago. They're not ancestors of gray wolves or coyotes. They evolved separately, in isolation, for millions of years in the Americas. That means their entire species is a genetic mystery, a branch of evolution that ended too soon. And now, that branch is being brought back to life. It started with DNA. Fossils recovered from tar pits and caves contained fragments of preserved genetic material. Using modern gene sequencing and CRISPR technology, scientists managed to reconstruct massive portions of the dire wolf genome. But there was a problem. Unlike with mammoths, where we have a close living relative, the elephant, there's no living creature close enough to the dire wolf to use as a surrogate. So they took a bold step. Using synthetic biology, researchers began integrating dire wolf genes into the embryos of genetically modified canines. Hybrid embryos were created in lab conditions, grown in artificial wombs, protected in biocontainment pods. After years of trial and error, one finally survived. The first pup was born 6 months ago. Its fur was reddish-brown, its frame broader than any known wolf, its eyes amber, deep, almost prehistoric. It didn't act like a modern canine. It was cautious, aggressive, instinctively dominant, and it's only the beginning. But just because we can, doesn't mean we should. What happens when we resurrect something that hasn't walked the earth in 10,000 years? How does it fit into our modern ecosystems? What if it doesn't? Some scientists argue we're correcting a historical wrong, that humans may have contributed to the dire wolf's extinction, and bringing it back is restoring balance. But others are terrified. Because the dire wolf evolved in a completely different world, one filled with megafauna, cold climates, and untouched wilderness. Today's world is smaller, warmer, more populated. We don't know how this creature will adapt, or if it even can, and if it can't, it may lash out. Every creature has instincts. The dire wolf's instincts? Hunt, dominate, survive. What happens if one escapes the lab? It won't be like a dog on the loose. It won't go to the nearest park and sniff fire hydrants. It'll find territory, challenge predators, eliminate threats. That could mean wolves, coyotes, even humans. And let's be honest, how many biolabs in the world are truly secure? Nature always finds a way, and so do predators. Somewhere in a reinforced enclosure, a creature older than humanity itself takes its first steps under artificial light. It doesn't know what year it is. It doesn't care about science. It only knows that it's alive. It only knows it's hungry. The dire wolf is back. And the real question isn't what comes next. It's who's going to stop it if it doesn't like what it sees. Subscribe for more real-life science mysteries, survival stories, and creatures you were never meant to meet.